Hello. Hi, hi, hi. Happy Saturday. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, Cavendish. Hi, Helene. How are you? Oh boy. It has been busy. How's everybody doing? How about you? I am okay. I am just really busy. per normal. But it's a good busy, I guess, but it's too much. I really have to learn not to take on so much work. It's silly. Anyway. Sorry, no cam again. Honestly, I go up to the minute with starting the streams lately that I haven't had time to properly dress myself for the streams, so just barely rolled out of bed. Oh, Cavendish. Hey man, you're on third shift, right? Mentally, like with what you do, that's just how third shift works. Doesn't mean you're lazy or that you get up later or anything like that. Just means you wake up later, you go to bed later, that's all. I get it. I'm the same way. Real quick, stickers for this month. How many days are left? There are 2 days. Monday's your last day to get the caffeined pack on my Patreon. If you look at my Curious Collector tier, which here is a link. Comes with lore, it comes with a cute little like fortune, these stickers, and a button or a magnet. It's a little coffee bean. It's got energy all around it. This one is a magnet, but you can also get it as a button. And these are stickers. So those are available. For those who are already on the tier, they went out yesterday. And then anybody who's on just the digital version, I'm going to try to put that out tonight. Tonight or tomorrow, one of the two. So let's see. What else are we doing today? We're going to work on a cicada piece to match this piece. So I'm going to do a second one, and this is for one of my patrons. They wanted a matching piece for this one that I did for them already. So we're going to do that today. Because cicadas are pretty cute. They're silly things. How are you all doing? Like, how was your week? Tell me a good thing that happened to you this week. And before I forget, I just put up a like a toned tools. I don't want to say it's a tutorial, but it's my toned tools write up. Let me see if I can get you a direct link here. I gotta wait for the nothing to go. Yes, I did, Helene. I wanted to know what her name is. You gotta figure out a name for her. It was very good. You did a good job. Keep going. You know what? I actually put the link to it in Discord, so I'm just gonna copy my own link. Hold on. Oh, that's great, Cavendish. In person? How did it go? Blah, 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 blah. For those who are planning on doing Journey June this year, you won't want to miss tomorrow's IG Live on the official account, as Gabe will be giving a visual storytelling best practices stream. So it'll help you to understand how to prioritize and where to place the emphasis in your compositions as you're making your story. I know that sounds really scary, but it's not as bad as it sounds. So for that, you'll want to follow the Instagram account there. I don't know why I put the Twitter first. I shouldn't have put the Twitter first. Either way. That'll be at 1 p.m. Central tomorrow. So basically an hour ago, but tomorrow. Alright, from what I took notes of, let's see, she wanted the cicada on white magnolia flower, and it's an orange and black and brown cicada. Okay. Oh, good, Cavendish. That's actually really smart. If you can talk someone out of war, it's a good day. So good on you. That sounds like an actual good skill to have. Like the fact that it's practicing but still doing that skill, that's actually pretty good. Let's see. I wanted to put a cicada on one of these flowers, but I gotta make sure it would work. Oh, nice, Celine. What are you doing in the backyard? Planting flowers? Planting fruits, veggies? What are you planting? Gotta find a good reference here. This one's pretty good. Oh, but this one's better. Yeah, I'll do that one. Okay. How's my audio? Can you hear the music and my voice? It's too bad I'm not left-handed. I could totally put this over there, but put it up here for now. Maybe over here? That's true, Cavendish. Good point. Alright, this one wanted to be on a big flower. Sorry. Hopefully I'll stop yawning soon. Excited for it to be Tuesday, because at least then my week will have calmed down by then. This week has been kind of hellish, I'll be honest. Way too much excitement, way too much to finish. I've been working non-stop. No breaks, nothing. Shipped out about 50 packages. What else did I do? Worked on about 5 commissions. Ugh. And then did a bunch of preliminary work for Journey June. Oh, good. Thank you, Cavendish. Yeah, Tuesday will be Journey June. So, I'll give a little background as to what I think I'm doing. Cavendish, do you know what you're going to be doing for yours already? I honestly haven't gotten a chance to sit down and think about anything regarding my story yet, but that's okay. Last night I started doing some sketches. I was thinking about a frog story and then not a frog story, because I hadn't done a frog story before, so I was thinking maybe, I could try it, and I was like, I like the frogs, but I'm not feeling the frogs lately, so, oh, you can't even see this, hold on. Okay, so I was like, I had an idea that I wanted to do a story that was focused on a messenger or a mail person of some kind, M-A-I-L, mail. Let's say postal service of some kind. Damn homophones. I was like, do I want to do a frog? And I was like, no. And then I was, this is really rough. This was a messenger that had a little pumpkin he was carrying, and I was like, I kind of like that, but no. And then I thought of this idea. I actually might use this for something else, but it was like a combo hat, backpack, snail person thing. So I was kind of digging that, but I'm going to have to use that for something else. Started doing this one, didn't like it. And then this is kind of based off an older character I had that I had drawn in, I think, 2014. It's on my Instagram, and I was like, oh, I actually like that design. I might update that and just use it for something else. So this character is totally not even designed in any sense. So I added some things like, it's kind of a tail. It's like a cat or like a mouse cow thing messenger. And then I was like, oh, it'd be cool if, here, maybe you can see it better if I do this. If it had like a dowsing rod that it flew on. So it's not exactly a witch or anything. I don't want it to be like a witch, but I really liked the ears, the tail, this cloak, kind of this hat that's looks somewhat official of some kind and not. So I don't know, this part is just, I was just fucking around. But like a scroll, and I don't know, I might go with this one. This one had the most factor of me liking parts of it, so I was like, yeah, I could do this. This is fun enough. But yeah, I didn't want a broom. I didn't want anything like that. I might even change the fact it's a dowsing rod, and I wanted to fit in a bag somewhere, seeing as they're a postal something. Anyway, that's where I'm at. So I still have to do a little bit of preliminary work on my hero. If you weren't at the hero workshop last week? Was it last week already? We had a hero workshop for Journey June. I know a few of you here were at it. But if you missed it, that's okay, because I put it up on, if you go to the Journey June account and you scroll down a little bit, it's right here. So right before the 9 and after the hero workshop announcement here, you can go into that, and it's the full hour-long video. So, I go over all the stuff I'm talking about here, and, I even put in closed captioning, and I haven't even seen if it works or not. I guess I should have looked to see if it is. Anyway, so there's closed captioning there too. I don't know if that changes it depending on if you're in a different country. Does anybody know that? If it captions it depending on where you are? That'd be cool. That'd be really helpful, actually. So you can access that anytime if there's something, I had said during the stream or what have you that you want to hear again. That sort of thing. Hey, Fricka! Wow, 13 wheelbarrows. Oh, cute. Cavendish, do it. A vampire hunting skunk. Do they do they hunt human vampires or vampiric skunks? Or what kind of world is it? Oh, you weren't feeling it? That's fair. Isn't that weird how sometimes you just don't feel the same for an OC that you may have used to? It's so strange to me. Let's do it like this. Well, what are you into nowadays? Like, what are your favorite things to even think or design? The problem here is I want to make this cicada about as big as the other one. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna draw it upside down so that they kind of go like that when they're next to each other. I'm gonna have to do, this is gonna be kind of hard. Do it upside down. So next Saturday I should have my camera back up. I should be able to actually dress up for the stream, do makeup, all that crap. Man, if I can find a happy in-between where it's like I don't have to wear much makeup or anything and I still don't look like crap, then I might have my camera up more often, but, you know, just don't want to look like crap. Let's see, that one's got little mandibles, so... I want them to look a little bit similar, but different enough. Because I think they're actually a different species of cicada. Oh, that's good. So that you're feeling that one a lot more? Big old fatty bottom on this baby. I haven't seen a single cicada. I was looking forward to like hearing a giant hum and seeing a cloud of them or some crap at some point, but I haven't seen any. Has anyone seen any cicadas from this 17-year emergence thing? Brood X or whatever? Oh, wrong spot. When you're drawing insects, make sure you're attaching the legs and everything to the right part of their body. If it's the abdomen, the thorax, what have you. A stuffed toy cat. Oh, cute. I love it. Did you already name him? I wanted this more at an angle. The other one's straight down, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. I haven't even warmed up today, drawing-wise, so hopefully it feels like it's alright. I'm not too rusty today. Did a lot of doodling last night, so... I think this one has leg here. Yeah, I think all their legs are connected to their abdomen, I think. They have cute little kind of claw thingies. I don't want to draw those though. So since I kind of already established a style with this other one, and since I'm trying to match them, you know, it's going to be a little bit harder. Oh, I should have moved him up. Maybe I could make the... I think I want to make the wings a bit bigger. I think the other one there a bit bigger. Yeah, I like that. It's a nice shape. So, gotta be careful of tangents whenever you're doing things like this. Tangents are lines that end up running together, so like if this petal here, if this petal started going into this wing, that'd be a problem. So whenever you're drawing things like this, you want to kind of offset them so they look like clearly different things. Otherwise you can run into some issues. You know, that can happen too with overlapping things. Like I almost drew this line coinciding with this line, which that would be detrimental because they would look like they're the same petal, which is not what we're going for here. So then the body goes to about there. Yeah. And then we've got a petal here that comes out, goes down, comes around. Sorry if you can hear my outdoor noises. Hopefully they're nice and not terrible. One guy was power washing the neighbor's house. It sounded like lawn mower, but then when I went and looked, I was like, oh, power washing, alright. Cute Cavendish. Well, as long as you're okay, you're smart enough where, you know, if you need to break the character a bit for the story, I know you're good enough to do that, but for the younger people doing Journey June, it just ends up being harder when they use an existing character because they're so tied to their original story that they don't want to change anything, and you know, they refuse to do it, so then they end up breaking the entire formula, and then they don't finish the whole thing because they don't understand how to adapt the story. So that rule is mainly for newer, younger people. Yeah, that'll be good. Oh, really, Ushi? Have you seen any this year, though? Like, I haven't seen a single cicada, and I was super looking forward to this whole thing. I was thinking there'd be, like, clouds of them, but I don't know. I'm probably in the wrong spot, but I'm in Illinois. I thought they were supposed to be, you know, prominent here. Do some lines on these leaves so I can tell the leaves from the petals. That's important. Because knowing my stupid brain, I might get confused. Oh, really? I don't know. I saw a map, I think, on Wikipedia. I'll see if I can find it again. That said that we might get it. Like, it looked like we were part of the map that it showed. Come on. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe it's just... It looks like for Brood X specifically, it might just be the East Coast. You're right. I think I was looking at cicadas in general, and it said that they are here, and because they are here, I figured they'd come here, but that's my bad. That means I basically just misread it. Which I do. Yeah, see, okay. So Illinois is part of Brood 13, that's going to be in 2024. Oh, okay. And the 13-year cicada is Brood 19, that's in 2024. So in 2024, Illinois is going to get swamped. Okay. Yeah, right now Brood X is going crazy in Indiana, apparently. Here's the map I found. Amelia? I think that works, Helene. I think that's a pretty name. Why don't you think it matches her? 21 days to know. Great series of exercise to help you develop character. You first get some great stuff. Yeah, trying to jerry-rig it. So, great stuff. I forgot what story I said. So you're gonna take this character and kind of disregard their previous background and all that, and then try to just apply them, right? I'm gonna look up this Michael Stackpole book. Maybe we can suggest it to other people if it's kind of what we're thinking. Days to know. Okay. Yeah, I just wouldn't, if I were you, I just wouldn't use the same story. Just use it as an exercise, you know, throw them through some alternate dimension where they're starting from zero, but you know what you do already about them, that sort of thing. I can't find this book. Oh, there it is. Okay. Kindle. Okay, yeah, as long as it's not the same story. But if you get anybody else on the challenge, make sure to tell them, what they're supposed to do. Because I'd rather have them not fighting with their own backstories. Too many people are so hung up on their backstories that it's just better to make a new character. The more stories, the better, the more experience you get, so I try to tell them to just, do something new. Better in the long run. I'm gonna take a process back at this, I think. There we go. Alright. Where are we? Let's start this bad boy. You can learn a lot about gradients through flowers. Seriously, flowers are so good for teaching you gradients. Like how to make crisp edges, where to start and stop gradients. It's why they're one of the best things to do when you're learning how to use like a brush and paint with 2 different pigments on it. Like this and leaves. Oh my gosh, there's so many mesmerizing videos out there of people who have a brush that has 2 colors on it, and they just kind of, you know, press it down and make a little print of it, and it just puts down the paint perfectly, and it makes, you know, a leaf or a petal. It's so beautiful. It's gonna be a little bit tough. I might actually have to use gel pens for the wings because the wings have some like orange and yellow intricacies going through it, like the veins of the, I think they're veins in a wing. Not completely sure if that's what they are exactly, but doing here. I think it's part of the black. How are you and Fritz doing, Cavendish? Good? Is Fritz a night owl like you are? Or are you guys on different schedules? This one has to go above. Ordinary in what way, Helene? Ooh, landscape design. Yeah. That'll be fun. Honestly, landscaping is one of those things that makes me want to get a part-time job so I can actually pay for making, you know, doing landscaping stuff. Because as it is right now, we're in kind of tight budget circumstances, so if we can eventually get part-time jobs, it'd be nice, because then, you know, we could actually redo the floors in our house, which we need to do, and stuff like that. Ooh, what kind of fruit trees? Is it the type of trees that you can eat the fruit, or is it just trees that have fruit, like their own fruit? Not like our fruit, produce, fruit, but just fruit. fruit. Really? You have all those? That's so cool. Oh man, Midwest, we can't grow nothing like that. It's a really nice day right here though. I think it's like 60 outside, which is really nice for us. Got the windows open. Dogs are barking. It's a really pretty day. I do love streaming, but I do get a little bit down when it's a nice day out. And I gotta be streaming. Oh, Serenity, hi! Yes, avocado do grow on trees. Isn't that crazy? And peanuts grow in the ground. So do pineapples. Pineapples grow in the ground too. That was a crazy one when I found that out. I don't know why I thought pineapples grew on like trees, but they don't. Whoa, two different kinds? What kinds? I'm gonna be stupid here and say that I do not know, or I did not know that you can have two different kinds of avocado. But I guess that makes a lot of sense. Wow, really? Oh man. Can't wait. We gotta get rid of this shed that's in our lawn that was here when we moved in. It is rotted, like completely rotted. It's really gross. And there's tons of things that have lived in there. We gotta get rid of that, but once we do, I wanted to do a raised garden, and I wanted to put some stuff in there. I also found a bunch of like cheap greenhouse equipment for a raised garden, so I might do that too. I just found out we have rhubarb. I'm not a fan of rhubarb, like strawberry rhubarb pie or anything. I honestly don't know what else you can do with rhubarb other than make pie. So if anybody knows, tell me. But rhubarb is a little bit too tart for my taste. But if anybody has any good suggestions what to do with the rhubarb we have, I am all ears, because we have too much. It grows on the side of our house, which is like, is that even safe to eat? Or, I know I feel really dumb about this. I guess I'm worried about like industrial water getting into the root structure or something, and if that'll affect it, you know. Is the jam really tart, Fricka? Or is it pretty tame? Let's see if I want to use this marker. Serenity, are you here? Oh yeah, see, Haas is the only one I know. Haas avocados. I feel dumb because I always thought that was just a brand name. Oh yeah, Fricka, go for it. Fricka, are you gonna stream today? Still? I know it's really late for you, but if you were gonna do a sculpting stream and you're gonna be on a while, maybe I can raid you. I gotta remember to raid somebody when I'm done. You get so used to just flicking off the stream button that you always forget to like go raid somebody, or at least I do. Oh, you're streaming tomorrow? Well, Gabe's gonna be streaming tomorrow on Journey June. Shoot. What color was this? What are you sculpting nowadays, Fricka? You still doing your brush folk? I think this marker's running out. Okay, so I'm going to turn that into bark soon to match the other one. Oh, cute. Fricka, have you been selling your brush guys? Alright, now this is going to be interesting because these cicadas are really vibrant. So I gotta find the right color, or at least a color that's close. So it's like yellow and orange. We have this really cool gradient. Yeah, see, this is too pink. Too pink. Ooh. I bet they'd sell well. Oh my god, all these are too pink. I need some that are like orange or yellow. Oh, nice, Aline. Well, that's fun. You know, I think I'm gonna have to add the orange with pastels later because I do not have the right kind of orange right now. Let me try one more. Yeah, that's too dark. Alright, so I'm just gonna do yellow under here. And I actually have really yellow top here. More of a greeny yellow. Well, that should be pretty Cavendish. Gabe and I put in a gravel path on our last place. It was nice. Oh, yeah, I suppose Cavendish. Grass is kind of fickle in those drier areas. God, this is not the right yellow. I don't think I have the right yellow right now. It's very much a green yellow. I'll go back to this one. This one's pretty close. At least I think that's that one. I'm trying a bunch of colors here on the side if you're wondering what I'm doing. Oh, gophers. No. I know they're pests, but I love them. Or a mole, I suppose. Gophers are moles. It's interesting, I'm finally getting used to that I have multiple rooms to do things in. For a while, I was just used to doing like art in, you know, 1 or 2 spots. And now it's like I've got 5 or 6 I can do art in, and like I'm trying to get used to that. It's very different. Having more room is something that I've never really had before, so it's pretty cool. I just need time to fix up the new art room, and I haven't gotten it yet. Hello, Misty. coffee today, but man, I'm still tired. I think that's the main way I can tell when I'm overworked. No matter how much caffeine or exercise I do, I'm just always tired. I'm gonna have to slow down one of these days. Spot there. Some spots here. There's two kind of fang-like shapes here. Bigger one here. Oh, good night, Helene. I hope you sleep well. Thanks for joining. Sorry I'm a little bit, later in the day for you to catch me, but I appreciate you showing up. Send me your next drawing of Amelia, okay? I want to see it. So it's actually this way, but I've been doing it upside down because then I don't get confused. Because if I do it the way it's gonna be, I'm gonna get confused. That's just how I am. Okay. Hello, Aslang. How you doing? Let's see. Well, for any of my patrons who are $3 and up, there is a new post about my toned grayscale tools on my Patreon. So let me see if I can get you a link. So if you join $3 or up, you can see that post. Okay. Let's do, I want to get these eyes in. So, you're welcome, Ashley. So when I say my toned paper ones, I mean these. So if you want to know why I have 5 or 6, there's a 6th one that's missing. White tools, go check out that post. I explained my madness a bit. Because that is a lot of different things. You have no ideas to start with? Have you done your hero yet? Your hero should be the first part. I'd be happy to do some brainstorming for your hero with you. It can be a little bit scary, it's true. You're gonna be stuck with this character for a month, so you gotta make sure you like him. Nope? Okay. Do you want to brainstorm with me? Because I can help you. I'm happy to. So a lot of my streams in June, I'm hoping, are gonna be more of a, like, come get some help. if you need it for Journey June, you know? So if anybody needs it or wants it, I'll be here to help. You'd love to? Okay. So let's make a list. Let's say, what are the 5 things lately you are really into drawing? And when I say lately, I don't just mean like this week or whatever, but maybe this year. Are there certain animals or characters or occupations or anything? Like, what's your go-to this year to draw that you always are excited to draw? All right, Fricka, thanks for coming. I'll try to get your package out in the next week or so. It's gonna be crazy with Journey June going on, but I'm gonna do my best. Kittens, baby bunnies, ducks, mice, etc. Oh, Fricka, you're so sweet. I'll try my best. Okay, so you really like the idea of some really cute, fuzzy baby animals sort of deal, yeah? How about out of the ones you just listed, do you have a favorite? That's like your one go-to right now that you really like? Maybe you're really feeling ducks or something. Bunnies? Okay. So let's say, and we'll explore this idea. So right now it's bunnies. What would you say is your favorite thing to draw bunnies doing right now? And this may seem like a simple process to figure out, you know, what you want to draw and whatever, but at the same time, when you're alone, you know, and you're not used to asking yourself questions like this, sometimes it does really help to have somebody else ask them until you're at the point you can start asking yourself. It's just sometimes it's hard to talk to yourself about, you know, what you want to draw or things like that. You really have to get used to doing it. It's similar to streaming. When you start streaming, you have to get used to talking to yourself. It's kind of funny like that, actually, because whether or not you've got people watching your stream, you want to be talking because, you know, it's recorded, people can watch it later, so you want to get used to that, right? So same with this. It's like you want to get used to talking to yourself about art and what you're doing and things like that. Ooh, okay. So let's say your bunny is a florist. Okay? So if I were you, maybe do a couple doodles. I won't say drawings, I won't say sketches, because sometimes those can sound scary. So do a couple doodles of a bunny that's a florist. What would they be wearing? They'd probably be wearing an apron. You know, if you want to draw them with clothes, you can. If you don't want to draw them with clothes, you don't have to. But maybe they're a florist. And then maybe, you know, something happens during, you know, their story. So what it's going to be is you're going to, for June 1st, it's going to be your hero. That's the first one. So you'll draw your bunny doing their florist thing. You're going to show where they work. Maybe they have a little bunny hole they operate out of. Maybe it's in a tree. Maybe, you know, explore the ideas of where you'd like to draw the bunny. And really, it's going to come down to, do you feel like drawing ground a lot, or do you want to draw trees more? Or, you know, maybe they've taken long grass and they've formed it into a little hut for their flower shop. you know, whatever you want to do, whatever kind of backgrounds you want to be drawing more than other things, that'll be, you know, their flower shop. And then I think it's like on day 6 or 7, somewhere in there, there's going to be a catalyst that happens that pulls them out of their job, their situation, their life. And at that point, you know, you're going to want to think about, well, what's this thing that would disrupt this bunny's flower shop business, you know? Maybe somebody stole their Miracle Grow item and they gotta go get it back, or maybe one of their prized flowers that they, you know, breed other flowers from gets stolen, or maybe it dies and they have to go to this remote place to get another one because it was handed down in their family for generations. So these are the kind of ideas you really want to explore when you're thinking about story. You know, you usually want to think about verbs a lot of the time. Verbs will really help. So was it stolen? Did it die? Did it disappear? You know, these sorts of things. That's really going to help you decide, well, okay, if it was stolen, then you're going to have some sort of antagonist eventually who needs it for something. If it died, that means it's only got a time amount to be alive in, right? So if that's the case, then maybe that puts a restraint on when they find it again, when they find another one. Maybe they have to get it back to their town in time, and, you know, maybe they can't, and by the time they get back to the town, that one's dead too, but there's a way to revive it, that sort of thing. So all of that can really help. You could have the customer ask them for something special, but you're going to have like this caveat that makes it so they can't do it right away. Otherwise your story's just over. So maybe they want something special, but they need an ingredient, you know, and they gotta go get it. Or you want something that's gonna take them out of their normal life, their situation, something that's gonna make them leave. At least for this hero's journey. If it was a regular story that wasn't following the hero's journey, you can do whatever you want. But for this first thing, you're gonna want it to be able to take them out of their situation. Does that help, Asling? So when you're designing the bunny, make sure to do it pretty simple for right now. So maybe just, you know, do the bunny really simple. Don't worry about anatomy or anything like that. Maybe give them just an apron and, you know, a watering can. Maybe they've got a spade if you want it to be an action story and they've got some adventure in it. Maybe they've got a spade or one of those, I have no idea what it's called, maybe a hand hoe where it's like 3-prong thingy, and they carry that with them and that's their weapon. But if you don't want weapons, maybe they have just a backpack or a map or something. You're going to want to think of the items they have on their person. So they're probably going to bring some stuff with them on their journey, you know? There you go, Cavendish. There you go. Yeah, you just need something to take them out of their norm. So then when you create your tag for your story, don't forget that it's going to be called like JJ Bunny Flower Flower Shop or something like that. Just make sure it isn't taken yet. Otherwise you're both going to be putting your stories under the same tag, and that can be a little bit scary. Then you can't find your story easily when you show a friend. And you're welcome. Yeah, if anybody else wants help on their story, let me know. I don't know why sometimes I find it easier to help other people's stories than my own. But that's kind of what happens. Blender, yeah. Yep, you got it. The Facebook page and the Twitter account are kind of dead. Just make sure to use the IG account. I should really change that. I just didn't want people to think that they only had to use Instagram if they didn't want to use Instagram, but like I feel like they're gonna use whatever they want to use regardless if I'm on there or not, but whatever. Let me see if I can change it. Okay, that should be better. Here, let's test it now. Okay, good. Fixed. Oh, that's crazy. Well, good work, Cavendish. I did that with my YouTube and Twitch. Before I started putting videos that weren't Twitch related on my YouTube, I just like forwarded my Twitch streams to my YouTube, and I got like 200 follows just from forwarding Twitch videos, which is crazy. Like, hopefully I can start doing actual videos at some point, but I just thought that was funny just from forwarding. The internet is interesting. So you'll want to go to the search area in Instagram and then just type in hashtag JJ and whatever you want yours to be. And if anything comes up, that means somebody else is using it. If nothing comes up, then you can totally use it. Using a hashtag on social media is basically the same as making a folder that you can just, you know, put your stuff into. And it's categorizing, but, you know, you can have your own and things like that. It really sucks when somebody doesn't check the hashtag. So that's why we don't use just Journey June anymore. We use Journey June in the year, and then even then some people still use it. But the original just hashtag Journey June is just full of other crap now. So every year we change it to be that year. Hi, Emma. Is my audio lagging? Like, I feel like there's a delay. Like you guys aren't hearing it when I'm saying it. I guess I'd have to type it in the chat when I'm saying it and then see how long it takes to get to you audibly. Guess that's the only way to check. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna type in talking and then I'll say I'm talking after I type it, okay? Talking, 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 talking. Now you guys tell me if that was close to when I typed it or not. Ah, 7 seconds. Okay. There is a little delay. That's okay. How you doing, Emma? How was your week? Oh, for those coming in, here are the stickers for this month for my Curious Collector tier, for the physical tier. And then this is a magnet, so it's a button magnet, or a bottle. And then these are stickers. So you get these, the lore sheet, and a fortune buff when you get the physical item. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. Let's see. Do this. So for those that have access to my Tone Tools post that I just put up today on Patreon, if there was something I missed or something else you'd like to know, let me know, because I could always add something more later and do a post about that. Because sometimes I write those things and I forget really obvious stuff that has to do with you know, my actual process. You'd think you wouldn't forget things that you do that are part of your process, but it's really hard when you actually sit down to record your process and think about how you do something without actually doing it. It's really tough. It's almost like you have to mock be doing it and then write it down as you go. And then next month, it'll be tea instead of coffee, because I know not everybody's a coffee drinker. No judgment. It's weird because these look fuzzy, but they're not fuzzy. Like hardened carapaces. I was thinking about in the future doing a like a studio tour for my little studio that I'm gonna be making, putting together in the other room, like my paint room. Would anybody be interested in seeing that for my patrons? Do you enjoy that, or is that kind of just like blah? I guess if I do that, I could also show our streaming room. You'd like that? Okay. I can do that. Might be a little bit though, because it's probably about halfway done right now. I still gotta put a bunch of stuff up on the walls. Luckily I'm not painting it. That would be a whole thing. But show you real quick. I think I took a picture the other day of our streaming setup. I could show you that real quick, so that you know this is where I'm streaming right now. You can kind of see. Oh, that's really dark. Hold on. There you go. Alright, so got the two bright lights up there right now. I've got a drape right now on that. I'm sitting right here right now. And then we have two monitors. This is the drawing area. This is our camera. It's on a, I don't even know if you can see it. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Well, you still can't see it there either. Either way, it's a pretty easy setup. We have a snowball microphone here too. But we both use Macs actually for our professional work, because Macs are better for image-based anything than a PC. But PCs are better for, you know, like streaming and doing anything with a lot of plugins and whatnot. This is our Brio. We have a little Sony Brio that has a little light around it for your face. These lights though are so we don't get any shadows like on our work. And then yeah, this is kind of a high-tech camera. We had to save up for that one, but it's worth it. This guy right here. But I'll probably put all of our equipment in that Patreon post so you can see what we've got going on. I mean, when you start streaming, your equipment's gonna vary, because eventually you're gonna, you know, end up upgrading and all that stuff over time, but it takes a little bit to upgrade. Nothing wrong with that. We've gone through probably, what, like 5 or 6 different cameras. And that's just natural. It's upgrading your equipment and all that. But definitely use cheaper stuff when you first start out, just in case you don't like what you're doing. Because if you find out you don't like streaming or making videos, then you wouldn't have spent a lot of money. And that's kind of ideal. And then if you do eventually level up your work and all that, that's okay. You can always sell your equipment too. Gabe and I have sold a lot of our cameras that we've used in the past. They're good cameras, but, you know, once you get better ones, then, you know, that's just what happens. Doesn't mean they're bad, the ones you used to use, just means they're kind of obsolete for what you need them for now. Which, that's just how it goes. Trying to avoid tangents. Yeah, there's nothing really here on the inside. Tone them back a bit. So I'm just going to trace them with white now. No, they're actually LEDs, so they don't get very hot. Yeah, that's part of the reason I don't want to paint either, Cavendish. The worst thing is the carpet here is awful all over the house. It's terrible carpet. And it costs a good deal to put in, you know, vinyl flooring and whatever. So that's one of the biggest soon changes we'd like to make, but we need to get money for that. But with the dogs, it's kind of crappy because, you know, we shampooed the carpet we do have, but it's like that only does so much, you know. It's just gross knowing that someone lived here 14 years before you and they really didn't upkeep the house very well. So you know, no matter how good of a job you do shampooing this carpet, it's only going so far. And we do not like carpet. Like, if the whole house could be just like hardwood or at least laminate flooring, I'd be all for that. We are not carpet folks. I don't mind rugs, like adding in a rug, but it has to be on, laminate floor. And I know we've got hardwood underneath it, but I'm pretty sure that's shot too. Adventures in flooring. I replaced floor in my first house that I had, and that was a pain in the ass, so I would rather hire somebody to do it the next time. We didn't do a bad job, it just wasn't as good as it could be, let's say. It's just I don't have time to do it either. Like, I love doing home-related stuff, but not the home-related stuff that kind of sucks. I want to do the fun things, not the not fun things. These are turning out to be kind of nice companion pieces. Happy about that. Gotta make sure I get in some of these lines though. Otherwise you can't tell what's what. This one should be lighter than that. It's just a crease in the flower. Oh no, Cavendish. No! Oh my god, fridges. Our fridge is terrible. It's an awful fridge. The kitchen here totally needs to be redone. It's ridiculous. Every choice they made in there is just horrible. We can't even get to one of the drawers because they had put the stove right next to it. So you can't open it. It's like, why would you do this? And the stove is so old. It's like, it's white, but there must have been a smoker that lived here at some point because it's yellowed. Ugh. And it's electric. We have like no gas appliances here. Even our washer and dryer have an electric outlet. They're not gas. Which I guess is okay because usually kind of gas related stuff makes me scared. Natural gas is really freaky to me. Oh, cat! Yay! How was your stream, cat? Happy Saturday. I'm gonna do my best to copy the same bark I did on this other one. Which is gonna be a whole thing. Cheers! Oh, I like those emotes. Cute. I like that that cup is basically the same color cup as this little mocha I've got going on. It's cute. That color cup is a good coffee cup color choice because it's like, it complements the coffee color. Too many C words right now. Oh, you have that actual cup? That's great! I bet it looks good with like some brown liquid in it because of that teal color. How was your stream, Cat? And how's your Saturday? Yeah, I really gotta see how I did this. Journey June! What was it of? Your hero? It was kind of fun. We were doing a Journey June brainstorming session earlier for someone in the chat, and it's fun. So if anybody ever needs help brainstorming during Journey June, I'm here. Saturdays, bring your problems here. We will figure it out together. I like helping because it's like a quick turnaround challenge for me to help brainstorm like a story idea and stuff. So I'm totally here to help. No, that's fine, Kat. So when I'm lucky I've got this near me. So for anybody thinking about it, when you're leading up to your character, I think it's important you do some concepts. Like, you know, do certain aspects of them, things you're excited to draw, whatever. Maybe even parts of their house, like you're saying, Kat. I had done this one 3 years ago. And I mean, this is the kind of thing that's going to get you hyped up to do your story. So like doing style frames and concept sketches and all that stuff, that's going to get you really hopped up to do it. So that when you get to it, you know, you're going to be really excited because this could be what your final one looks like. Now, your story should not be this detailed or even colored, but as an example here, so this guy, this is the concept sketch for this merchant, and he ended up looking like this in the story. So the sketches are super rough. You don't even need to put in background, right? We just want you to get the staging there, the camera angles, all that stuff, okay? So yeah, your concept sketches can be pretty, you know, and have all the colors you're thinking and all that stuff. But when you get to, you know, the story and telling it, rough is better because it's going to be, like, these are post-it note templates. Like, I put down a post-it note, I trace it, and that's my storyboard thing. So, like, when you've got action shots and whatever, it's like, oh my god, here's this thing, and, you know, running around and all that stuff. Like, showing motion, showing how things are framed, that's more important, right? So, just that you're telling the story and it's rough. You don't want to do any final illustrations while you're telling the story. But leading up to the story, yeah, definitely. Get excited about it. Do whatever you want to do to get yourself, like, in the zone. Yeah, definitely make a template. I do that every time I storyboard a story. There's one story I used a theater ticket as the actual template. So definitely have something on hand because you're going to be doing those really rocket fire. You're going to have a sheet, typically, and it can be however big you want because you can do as many or as little of these panels as you want, depending on if you're making a kid's book, a comic, what have you. So when you have the first prompt, the minimum you can do is one, right? It could just be one image to represent that prompt. But you can do as many as you want to actually introduce that prompt or get to it, what have you. So because of that, you'll want to have like a little template you can just really quickly trace, because you're going to have all these ideas and how it's moving in your head, and you know you're going to want to go faster because you know characters are running or something, so you want to get through that. It's exciting once you start going as fast as they do. Oh, I'm glad you're raving about it in your streams. Yay! Yeah, start designing all the auxiliary stuff now. If you're done with your hero, then you have a good idea of who they are, where they live, what's going to be around them, you know, and once you figure that out, then you're gold. Start designing this stuff, you know. That's when you can start world building. You don't want to world build before you actually make the character, because then you're just going to, you know, build them into a corner, really. But after you've got them figured out, go for it. Start thinking about like what would be villains to your character, what would be detriments, you know. If they're a snail, obviously running into a pile of salt is going to be deadly, you know, stuff like that. Once you start, you know, writing that down and realizing that, it's going to be a lot easier once you get to the prompts that mention those things. Oh, thank you, Kat. It is a companion piece to this one from a while ago. So for one of my patrons who wanted to combine their devoted Dandikin tiers, which is original ATCs that I do every month for these people. These people. And for people coming in who are patrons at $3 and up, there is a new post that goes over my toned tools that we had talked about for about 2 months that I needed to do. So I did it yesterday. It took all day basically for me to edit the pictures and do all the things, so there's that. Oh yeah, do not do these on giant pieces of paper. I should probably do a post about that. You should be doing them like a storyboard. Do not do them on anything bigger than 3x3, I would say. I'm gonna write a thing about that, because yeah, I totally haven't. Since it's a rough draft, you can draw the bigger versions later. Do not do them big now. Oh, thank you, Kat. I'm so glad you do. It makes me so happy. And it's really wonderful of you to spread the news, too. Like, tell people about it, because really, it's so hard to get patrons, especially when there are no conventions or anything like that. Getting people to understand A, what Patreon is, and B, what your Patreon is hard. Because everybody offers something different typically on their Patreon, so it's really tough. Yep, either one. Whatever works best for you. I'll mention that too. You're bringing up wonderful points, Ashley. Wonderful points. whatever genre you want. It doesn't have to be sci-fi, fantasy, whatever you want. Was it what you wanted, Kat? Did it make sense and give you enough information? I was a little afraid I didn't give enough, but if there was something you were expecting to be in it and I didn't, let me know and I'll add it in. Because it's kind of hard when you're writing these things to remember A, what your process is, and B, you know, what people would want to know. Pretty difficult. So if I forgot something, tell me. I will make sure to add it in. Oh, do you really? Okay. Good. That'll help. I don't think this flower has this. Oh yeah, it kind of does. Do you kind of know what you're gonna do for your story then, Kat? Like explaining your character and everything? You know who they are, you know what they're gonna do. You'll want to think about right away what their normal day is when they wake up, what do they do, and then what's gonna be the thing that pulls them out of their normal routine. Something's gonna happen to them. So we were doing Aslings earlier, and she might have a bunny florist. We figured out that could be cute, and then something happens where either like she runs out of a type of seed, or maybe her coveted miracle grow whatever gets stolen, or maybe her prize plant dies and she needs to go get another one from this really obscure rare place, stuff like that. Thinking of those type of things are really going to help your story just go. Cool. That's true, Kat, that's very true. Knowing how to use them. Did I explain a good way to use them, or do you want me to go more into how I do? I think I did, but I don't know how much more people would want to know. So the whole idea then too with your hero and taking them on this journey is something at the end when they come back home is going to change. So maybe in Asling's case, like let's say that prize plant dies, right? They have like this one plant that's like the coveted plant in their floral shop, and it dies. And it's known to never die, and suddenly it dies. So they need to figure out, okay, well, I need to go get another one. I also need to figure out why it died, you know, that sort of thing. So that's going to be kind of the story. But at the end, you're either going to need to figure out how to solve why they're dying, or you're going to need to bring it back home so you can grow it yourself, or figure out how to grow it yourself. So the minute you figure out what the problem in the story is the point you can figure out what the like return home is going to be. So when you come back home, what's changed? You know, what have you fixed? That sort of thing. A bumblebee stealing a prize seed. Then, okay, so if a bumblebee steals the prize seed, we're going to have to follow that bumblebee, or she's going to have to find him. And then we're going to have to figure out what the bumblebee's motivation was. Why did the bumblebee steal the seed? And then is it the sort of thing like maybe that's the sweetest flower for them, or the best honey or wax that comes from that plant, so they stole it from themselves to populate this one type of wax or honey that really helps out their people. And then you gotta figure out, well, how does my hero react to that? Do they want to help, or are the bees doing it to be a-holes? That sort of thing. Do you want help on that part, Kat? I'd be happy to help if you do. Is a ladybird like a ladybug? Is that the same thing? Or am I thinking lady beetle? Or are they all the same thing? Oh my god. I don't even know anymore. Oh, cute. Ladybug. Interesting. Yeah, I know there's different regional things. Ladybugs, ladybirds, lady beetles. I'm really bad at telling apart ladybugs from Japanese beetles, though. I think it's just that Japanese beetles maybe have more circles, more dots. I'm not positive. Okay, so when it comes to these two things, the pastel and the pencil, I'm using the pencil to get up and get that crisp edge, and then I'm going to use the pastel to blend it back. And I want a crisp edge, but I don't want it to be ink. So that's why I'm not using one of the white pens. I think I'm going to doodle some of my character in a minute here for Journey June. I think I figured out a character. Since I've been so stressed and busy lately, I haven't gotten to just sit and play with a character, so I'm rushing it, admittedly, but hopefully it'll be something I can take through the whole journey. I was way too busy last year to even do Journey June, so I'm really sad about that. Because even if I don't end up using the stories, I still like doing it, you know? Keeps me sharp. adventure stories, but they live very similar. Cute. Okay, so their catalyst is the map. So, let's see. So I'm guessing that day then, on the way back home from the market, they're gonna find that map. Well, let's see, what day is it? Day 2. Wow. I forgot it was that quick. So for level 1 people, your call to adventure is day 2. So in this case, so Cat, this is an old post, but it's still legit. So yours is the did they find an item? Because usually it comes down to these sorts of things. Either somebody came to them, they found something, something happened in their environment, you know, something out of their power. And then for those who are returning to Journey June after you've already done it either once or a few times, you have a completely different set of prompts. So day 2 for level 2 people is we mix in the villain so that you can get both sides. So imagine it like for level 1 we're just following the hero, like the camera's always on the hero. Level 2 is, say, similar to how Star Wars is shot. Sometimes they'll show the Jedi, and then sometimes they'll go and they'll show the Sith side of things. And how's Darth Vader doing? Well, he's over here. He's doing this stuff. So that's level 2. And that's level 2 for a reason, because you have to kind of put yourself in the villain's shoes then. And ideally, you know, you do level 2 after you've gotten used to actually portraying characters and whatnot. Otherwise, it's a lot harder to kind of manage all of them. Oh, Kat, but this will be fun. It's super exciting for you. You'll do fine. For the people that, you know, are illustrators and like to draw scenes and things, this kind of is the next step. You know, you're used to telling a story through one image, so now all you have to do is keep drawing images that are telling more and more of the story. So you can do, you know, 1 image per prompt, or you could do 20 images per prompt, as long as you're doing each prompt as a separate image. It's the only caveat. Oh, good! I'm glad you're having fun. It's a fun process, and you know, some people who think they want to tell stories think they do until they start telling one, and then they find out, oh my god, I don't like doing this. This is a lot of work. And then, you know, then they're more powerful because they know that they don't want to do it anymore. So I don't want to say that we scare people off doing stories, but we show them, you know, what they actually entail so that, you know, they don't have to keep wishing and hoping they do a story when they don't actually know what it entails, if that makes sense. So that they can better put, you know, their time into things that they know they like. I know it sounds kind of cruel, but it's better that, you know what you do and don't like. Okay. What else do I need to do to make these similar? Oh, I totally forgot to add this. Yeah, definitely do the square idea. It's just a template, and you'll want to do that no matter if you do a kid's book or a comic. It's all going to play into the same thing. If you're going to end up doing a comic, don't worry about how the panels look right away. you're gonna just do squares first, and the panels will come later after you've finished and revised the story at least once. So definitely not during June. Panels come much later. And Gabe will go over that when he does his little comic workshop, which I think is like halfway through June, somewhere in there. Because there's a workshop again tomorrow that he's doing at 1 p.m. Central, and then we have one or two during June. One is just like a motivational keep going, because a lot of people during a very specific point start falling off, and we want to help where we can, because it does get really difficult at one part in the story. So we want to give you the tools to be able to dig yourself out of that once you get there. If you want to prepare at all for the unexpected, start learning how to brainstorm effectively. Because it's one thing to brainstorm, it's another thing to do it in a way that's actually really powerful. And the main way to do that is to just sit down with a piece of paper, start brainstorming, and write everything down. Don't just write down things that you think are good ideas. Write down every idea. Because the whole thing is, you write down everything, and then even the dumb ideas, because later you might look over it and you're like, oh my god, that is not a dumb idea because that reminds me of this thing, and this thing is awesome, and blah blah blah. So even your dumb ideas can cue you to get a good idea. So when you brainstorm, write everything down. Very important. And that goes for anything. If you're brainstorming logos or, you know, brand names or whatever, write down everything. Oh, and that's fine. Yeah, if it's not a comic, don't worry about that. That's pretty advanced anyway. Just focus on a product that, you know, you'd feel comfortable with. Okay, I think, and these will be cropped later. You can see where the actual crop lines are. So I know that this one is going right down here. So they'll look a lot better once they're cropped. I also have to go in with some pastels and change some stuff. Alright, I think I'm gonna actually be done in a little bit. Can't stay too long. We got this done. I'm gonna hit it with some pastels later. I might do a couple more quick drawings of my Journey June character. If it looks okay. If I can get the iPad to look right on the camera, then I'll do it. But I don't have the electric or the digital side really hooked up right now. Can you see those okay? Yeah, there's no glare really. Okay, so I'm thinking this character. God, that is so dark right now. Find my iPad pen. I'm surprised there isn't a glare. It's weird because there's a glare for me. So this is Clip Studio too I'm using. Let's see. Oops, let's get fill in. So it's kind of a postal worker meets kind of a witch, but not a witch. I don't want it to be like a witch thing, you know? Let's move this one up. I like CSP. Clip Studio mainly because I like the stabilizer better. The stabilizer is this wonderful thing here. So without a stabilizer, it looks like this, right? With the stabilizer, it's so much better. And Procreate's is a little bit too laggy for me. I'm not a fan of that. I do like CSP for painting though. If I'm gonna be painting, I definitely like their brushes better. But in terms of like sketching and doing actual line work, because if I show you, like, so this month's calendar, that'll be going up on, I think, tomorrow. So this is my Patreon calendar for June. But you can see this line work is completely using the stabilizer. And the nice thing, both Procreate and Clip Studio have a time-lapse feature, which is really nice. So, I mean, regardless of which one you like using, there's, you know, time lapses that you can see how it's done and all that stuff, so you can export those. But yeah, both have it. Let's see, so that'll be June's calendar. So I'm thinking it's important too, when you're thinking of your character for Journey June, what they're gonna look like at the end of the story. Because like right now, there's a few key elements here. This poncho that this character's wearing, right? It's got kind of a puffy collar, and it's got, you know, this almost flower petal-like billow to it, right? So if I was going to level that up, which at the end of the story it kind of will be, what would that look like? So like maybe the hat has, maybe the hat changes completely, or maybe it's got like some sort of magic coming out of it, or maybe it's just taller, right? This is a brim. No, it doesn't look like it, but it's a brim. And maybe like, you know, if there's an emblem here, maybe the emblem gets embellished more. You know, if there's that, and then it gets taller and more intricate. Usually when things get pimped out, they get taller and more intricate. Or bigger in general. And then this cloak, maybe the cloak itself, maybe it kind of melds together and the cloak has a hood that goes into the hat. And, you know, maybe the cloak itself gets longer, right? So maybe the whole thing just changes. Maybe something like that. You know. And I mean, if I wanted to go that intricate route, then maybe this design get a lot more intricate too. I know, heavy Journey vibes, right? But then, like, this thing, I didn't want it to be a broom. I was thinking about it being a dowsing rod. Which dowsing rods help you find water, or so the myth goes, in nature. So I thought it'd be cool if that was the riding apparatus. Because it evokes the idea of witches, but it's not directly a witch thing, which I like. Oh, thank you, cat. The key to movement in sketches is to be loose. If you're one of these people that's sketching like this, and you're doing this, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. That's a hard thing to break, but make sure your lines are like, you know, is wispy and like just strokes. Think strokes. Don't think scratches. Think strokes. Yeah, I know it looks like Journey. That's a thing I have to break about it too, and that I think comes with the character. So if I just draw the outfit, you know, yeah, it looks like Journey, but if I have the ears coming out and the tail, you know, from this thing, I don't think it's a mouse, I don't know what it is. It's just a random creature. And then, you know, it's writing on this thing, and if it's got an emblem there, and I'm going to give it a bag at some point. So it'll be different enough. And you have to remember that a lot of things that have been made aren't original ideas anyway, so you have to give yourself some slack. As long as it's not exactly something, you know, and you're purposefully doing it, that's okay. And I mean, you can change things too, depending. But eventually it'd be nice to, you know, make something different enough so it doesn't really evoke that, but maybe it just evokes the feeling somebody might have about that property, you know? So, let's see. I like these ears. This is how I tend to draw a lot of my fabric. So if you want to practice fabric, just draw some stuff like this. Draw where their neck is or something, and kind of just draw some lines from it. And then practice where the wind's blowing. Is it blowing up underneath? You know, then this would go here. And this is how you draw skirts and cloaks and all those sorts of things. Right? It's an easy way to draw billowy things. I mean, we can't just give Journey credit for having somebody in a poncho, right? Ponchos, Journey can't have ponchos. Lots of things have ponchos. And that's one of those things, like when you're at a convention and somebody comes out and, you know, it's one of those things where they're gonna say what something reminds them of, and you have to just kind of bite your lip and be like, okay, yeah, I get it. Because you can't help if things are inspired and whatever. Sometimes they come out in different ways. And then, like, if you wanted to draw, let's say, I was thinking about doing scrolls for this one instead of letters. I like scrolls better than letters. My grandma actually taught me how to draw scrolls when I was like 10 years old. She was amazing. It's pretty easy though. So if you're gonna draw like an like furled scroll, I guess, draw a spiral, right? Kind of like that. Then draw 3 lines that go over. And then copy that line again, right? Copy this one. And then you're gonna just parallel lines. Parallel lines. There's a scroll. Easy, huh? Oh, really, Kat? Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. My problem is just when people start copying other people and don't credit them. You're amazing at credit, but there's somebody I know that has kind of been copying me for a while, and they just never mention it. It drives me nuts. I remember, like, just have fun with your character when you're drawing them. You know, you want to explore all these things. Like, what do they look like eating? What do they look like sleeping? Like, does this character take off its hat while it eats? You know, what does it do when it sleeps? How does it look? Does it like to hang from the ceiling? Like, you know, and try to take into account like the ratio of all their elements of their outfit. So like this hat, right? They have ears. What are the ears like in relation to the hat? Well, the ears are about the same, you know, as the height of the hat. So as you draw something over and over and over again, just remember that, right? And that'll help you. So, you know, in this case, like if this is our main thing, well, the hat is about as tall as the neckerchief bit, right? So then you take this, it's like about the same amount, right? There you go. So everything, once you create the character with the proportions you like and everything, break them down and think, okay, the whole thing, this is its head, right? It's about 2 heads to the top of the hat, and then about 2 more heads for this body, right? And about 2 more there. So you know how much each part of the body is, right? And that's going to help you, like I said, draw over and over and over again. And then you can have that next to you as you're doing all your sketches and everything. You know, make sure to do a couple expression things, like if they're happy, what do they look like happy? You know, in this case, this thing would throw its head back probably, whatever it is, and it'd probably be happy. Yay. You know, and maybe its ears would go up. Giving it, I guess, kind of satyr cow ears. But yay. It still has a little ways to go. I'm not exactly sure what it is yet. But I kind of want that scarf to impede up onto its face. So I know that much. So it's kind of cozy. I like cozy things. So, you know, you just want to think about how they react to stuff. And this is just the basis of character design, really. I will, Cat, believe me. Oh, did it, Cavendish? How do you like it? Oh, Cat, you're so sweet. I'm glad you like my input. Oh yeah, curled up scroll. Okay, so let's say if you want to do it horizontal, which I'm guessing... Okay, I'll do both. So for a curled up scroll that's horizontal, just do curlies like that, okay? Let me know when you've gotten that part, and I'll do the next part. We'll do a follow along. I'm gonna redraw that though, because that was bull. There we go. Yep, okay. So then draw parallel lines from the edges. Okay? And then this one too, because this is technically an edge because it's going up onto that part. So 3 lines there. Oh wow, Cavendish, that was a while ago. 16 years ago. Wow. Because this part is curling behind, this part is curling over, so the part that's curling over has 2 extra lines here. So you got that? So when you've gotten that far, then you go into these other pieces. So every time it curls and there's a spot, you draw a line. So there, changes direction there, changes direction here, changes direction here, right? And then draw a line where it ends up. Okay? And then the easiest part is drawing the little caps here. This line is going to mimic this line. And typically, you'll want to round that too. It'll go behind the one that's going over. Hi, Ray. How you been? So eventually, I should just do a TikTok of this, shouldn't I? Eventually you can do it pretty quickly. And as intricate as you want too, which is super nice. So if you wanted to make one that was crazy curly. Oh, I've had this iPad forever. We're just doing Journey June sketches on it. This is actually a really old iPad. So if you want to do it a few times, you can. We just finished, actually, Ray doing this one on the stream, which is a companion piece to this other one, which is for one of my patrons. So if you wanted to see the traditional part of the stream, that was the first part. So right now we're working on Journey June stuff together. And they wanted to know how I did my scrolls. So when you get to this part, remember every time it changes direction and you don't want to go all the way through, right? So you don't want to do that. You only want to go to the next curve, right? Just like that. So you can do it as much as you want. And you can do it as loose or as tight as you want. It's actually easier to just draw a rolled up scroll too. So if you do it really tightly, right? And let's say, and this is, I draw these scrolls way too much, but I always have mine like wrapped in ribbon, right? I usually have like a little trail coming off it. Whatever, right? Then you just go in here, you do this. And then sometimes you want to have it come up. And then you can make the edges ragged. Maybe they're a little bit torn. So there you go. This one. Make sure you get all the things though, because sometimes it can be really a little bit much. Right? After you do it a bunch, you know, it gets pretty easy. Push that in. What else you want to see? Maybe I have another thing I can teach. I mean, I already kind of taught how to do skirts and cloaks. Oh, I don't know when it happened, but thank you for the follow, Paperback. Appreciate that. Little bags. Oh, okay, so let's do a satchel. Or a little, oh, like a pouch? Okay, so remember we just talked about this thing, right? Like if you're wearing a skirt, right? You got a skirt? So after learning that, let's say you just turn that upside down. Holy cow, wow, here's a pouch. Holy cow, wow. Then you can tie it up with something. Magic, right? See, I wish it was easy to do these things on my Patreon, but it's hard because you gotta write it all and whatever. So if you just want to do a pouch just to start with, you know, just do that. You do, it's like the scroll in a lot of ways, because you gotta do these inner pieces, and then you're gonna shade them, you know, depending on how innermost they are to the pouch. So like that's gonna be more shaded, and then, you know, depending on what it's wrapped with, if it's wrapped with ribbon, twine, grass, you know, raffia, might have something silly like this, like, you know, the raffia type look, something like that. Fatter, flatter, little pouches with designs on them, you know, stuff like that. And then this is where it comes in handy to be practicing your primitives. So if I'm gonna do, let's say, a fold over satchel, you want to know how to draw a cube, or at least a rectangle. Okay, so you start like that, give it some dimension, right? Here's a cube, right? Most everything starts as a primitive. And then it's got a fold over bit, right? So mentally I do a crosshair, basically, figure out where the middle of everything is. And then this would be the opening, right? This is where it attaches to the bag. This is where it fastens. So, you know, you could do a buckle fastener. You could do, one of my favorite fasteners is one of these ones that's like rope, and it goes around it like that. And then depending on how rounded or fat you want it, you can change that stuff. You can put in stitching. Things like that. You know, then you can start designing stuff. But it all stems from just, you know, a primitive. So draw your cones and your cubes and your cylinders. Cylinder, right? That's a scroll. Cylinder, scroll. Yeah? Yeah. It's that easy, kids. But you gotta know how to draw your primitives. Mind blown. So like a mushroom, let's do the mushroom thing, okay? So a mushroom, draw an ellipse, right? However you want to. Let's say I'll draw two just so you can see different aspects. So you've got that one maybe, and this one, okay? You're gonna wanna find the middle. So usually go in the middle of it, copy the parabola or the curve, right? Same here, find the middle here too. And then you're gonna draw like another little circle, right? And then from that circle, you're gonna draw a little part. And I usually make them a little bit more bulbous at the bottom. And this is how I like to draw my mushrooms. Okay? And then from here, you can draw them like that. Right? Remember to make your mushrooms look different than mine, so we're not drawing the same mushrooms. And then this is where your style can come into play. So if you want the gills to be thin, you know, you could do thin ones, right? And this part can take a lot of practice to actually get the curves to look right underneath. I like my mushroom tops to actually be thick, you know? So I'm gonna trace this, but I'm gonna make it thicker, right? And then I'm gonna make another line around it that's thick, and I'm gonna vary it a bit. Okay, so this mushroom's thick. I didn't do back here because this is where the gills are gonna be. So remember that line we drew in the middle? That's where the other side starts. So you go back here and you draw them, and then when you get up here, you draw them around that central line you'd drawn, right? And like I said, this part can take a while because you have to figure out how curves move around an object, and that can take a little bit of practice. Does that make sense? Danielle, hello, millipede. So in Procreate, if you want it to draw like this, I only tip up my thing because I don't know what I've got on here and I don't want it to be incriminating. So let's see. Procreate. Okay, when you say, I like how your pen draws. Oh, good, Mama. I probably will end in about a half an hour. I started at 2. And it's 4:30 right now. I'm just going over some little things, I guess. We're just having more of a casual time right now. So, Kat, when you said you like how my pen draws, do you just mean where I went from thin to thick? Is that what you're saying? Or, like, what do you mean when you say you like how it draws? What exactly? The thin to thick? Okay. So that is a pen pressure thing. So if you go into your brushes and then you click again on the brush, you're going to be able to like change that. But it's going to, that's the taper part. So where was that? The tip. Touch taper. I forget where it is. I don't change much in here, but let me find it again. There's a lot of different settings you can use though. I know you can change. Fall off means it stops a lot earlier. So you can mess with all these and figure out what works for you. So you know how I showed you stabilizer in Clip Studio? Streamline is the equivalent to that. So see how it like straightens itself as you're going? It's a little bit laggy and it straightens itself. It's okay. It's not as good as Clip Studio. It lags a bit, but that's okay. Is it not going how I want it to? You know, and depending on the brush you use, that's going to change too. So you might want to change to one of these other ones that have the thicker bit, because then that's going to change with how hard you press, right? Oh, you like how it changes to look like a pencil? Well, that's just me drawing lighter or darker. So if you, I think this is the default pencil. So if you go to sketching and go to 6B, you can change it to that, but you can also go in here like I was showing you before and change it. I don't typically like streamline in here though. Does that make more sense then? Because I think that's the same. Yeah, it's about the same in here. There's a lot of good pencil packs and things you can get as well. But what else were we thinking? Oh yeah, we were talking about primitives too. So another primitive, like if you've got, let's say you do a cylinder, this is a good application of a primitive. Change it into a cup. So if you just round the edges of it, right, you've got a cup. And I mean, if you learn to draw a cylinder in various other ways, you know, and this could be a cup here too. Here's a mug. It's fallen over. Oh no. Spills. Spills. So this is why art teachers always get on your case about, you know, practicing your primitives and stuff, because it does matter. I think I do like this character. I mean, yeah, there's that journey aspect of it, but I think I can get past that. Or just make sure the paunchy pants. If I don't make it as long, maybe it won't be. Or I could change the front. Instead of being just a full-on poncho like it was, I can just split it. And then it's further away from Journey then. If I don't want it to look this similar. Hey, Twillo. I don't know if they're mice exactly. They're like a mix of cows and mice. So I did your other cicada earlier on the stream. Do you want to see it? Or do you want it to be a surprise? You want to see it? Okay. So here was the one from last time. And then here's the one. Remember, these aren't fully done for this time. So if you want to see me doing that the whole stream, that was an hour ago? I don't know, I started at 2. I think it was just 2 hours. Oh, don't worry, it's recorded. If you want to watch it in fast time after I end the stream, you can just go back in and do it. So I'm gonna pump the values of the color with some pastels once I get done to it. So they're a little drab right now, but they won't be. This one, we had said you wanted a black, orange, brown one. This is back, my notes from what, February or something? I think it was. One you wanted pink magnolia for the February, March with buds. And then the second one, cicada and flower, white magnolia, April, May. So that's what I tried to do. So I hope you like them. Thank you, Mama! It could be a jerboa, but jerboas have, like, their legs do this thing. The inverted, don't they? The inverted knee thing? Don't they do that? I think this is a jerboa, right? I don't think they exactly do that. I think they have inverted, like, frogs. Either way, it could just be a personified version. Yeah, you're totally right. Because the jerboas have ears like that. And they're a little plorp. I think they have legs like that. I know they have long ears though. I did a digital painting once of a jerboa. They are so insane. But I don't know, I just kind of wanted to do a creature that didn't exist. You know, maybe it was an amalgam of some attributes I liked, you know? So I like the ears. I like having this tail. I also like to give fish feathers when I draw fish. I know that's weird, but yeah, maybe I do like the... Oh yeah, if I do that, then I can do this. I kind of dig that, actually. And I want to do that eventually. But my problem is I gotta figure out where I want to stick this satchel. So if they've got this, I need to give them a big backpack. I like the puffy pants. There's the hat. Ears. Scarf. This piece. Yeah, I guess the backpack could just be on the back. So I wanted like a messenger mailman type of thing. I think the Postal Service is so damn cool. So, when we were talking about Journey June earlier and, you know, thinking about what your character's final form would be, I'm thinking for this one, maybe a giant plume. Like once they level up, they get a giant plume in their hat. Right? That'd be kind of cute. It's very marching band, but honestly, depending on context, it may not be. So, you know, somebody might not equate the two. Because, I mean, if this is fantasy, you can do whatever you want. Because it already looks like a marching band hat. So if it's just like, well, this is how... this is how their postal service looks. Who cares, right? Doing a new character, Kat? What do you mean? Remember to draw them in various poses too. So how would they look when they're bending over? You know, how would the things on their outfit change? So you'd see the top of the hat if this one's bent over, right? And this is another place where primitives come into play, because this hat is basically a cylinder, right? See a little bit of that, but mainly here's the cloak. Maybe see their legs. And then the backpack. How would the backpack look? Oh, that's okay, Kat. No, you don't need to do that. You can definitely go with, you know, a regular creature. You don't need to make a new thing. I mean, make the bug be very yours. Change something about it. So, like, you've got a ladybug, right? To make it a different bug, add something else. You could have it have like a Charlie Brown like pattern on it. Now it's a different bug. It's no longer a ladybug. You know, little things make it something different. Now it's a different bug. So you don't have to go crazy. You know, if you do want a different bug, maybe it's got little mandibles. Maybe that's a male version and it's got a little mustache. You know, it doesn't have to be crazy stuff. You could even just add, you know, a part like this on it. Now it's a new bug. Because the only thing that makes this shape a ladybug is 6 dots, right? Then it's dark, then it's dark, 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 dark. Now it's a ladybug. But with fantasy, you can change it to anything, you know? So doing whatever you want with it. Maybe it's got ears. Maybe it's a lady bunny. You know? Like changing things to that. Just little things. Could even have a tail. So when you boil, you know, things down to their concentrated form, you can change them that way really easily, right? And that's no big deal. Let's see. Gotcha. Well, you could still do like the difference in ears. Just think about different aspects of the character and what you could change about them, you know? Like you could add antennae, you could get rid of wings, you could give them flippers, you could, you know, all these sorts of things. There's a lot you could do if you do want it to be a little bit different than a ladybug, but that's totally up to you. There's no, like, downside to just doing a ladybug. You know, if you just want to do a ladybug. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, What do they look like sitting down? What do they look like sad? What do they look like happy? Oh, that's bad. So if the legs are here, this is the body. Paunchy pants. Maybe this one's going in some water. I was thinking about drawing slits on the side, so if they want their hands to come out, they could. But I don't know yet. Maybe I'll figure that out later. And if I decide to add them halfway through the story, who cares? Then all I have to do after June's over, I can just go back and change that, you know? Not a big deal. So if you do end up adding something halfway through your story, at the end of your story, it's okay, because you're going to end up making another draft of it anyway, if you like it enough. If you do Journey June and you realize, oh, I really don't like my character, that's okay. At least you finished it, you got that story under your belt, you finished one, you can tell people you finished one. You know? Not a big deal. Oh, having a good time, Kat. You're welcome. I'm excited for Journey June. I want to see your stuff. Hi, Emma. This character is going to be for Journey June. I just made them last night, and they're probably going to be the one I use for Journey June. So, I'm just explaining how it's good to draw them in many different ways. Oh, really, Troop? Thank you. Let me get rid of this guy. He's too surly to be in here. Get out of here, guy. Alright. I just feel like flying is a little too overpowered. I might revisit this idea and do it a little differently. Maybe they fly at the end. Maybe they have to get this feather so that they're able to fly. So, you know, when I explain on the account, on Journey June's account, to spend some time with your character, do that. You know, think about how you made them look, why you made them look that way, what they'll eventually look like at the end of the story after they've leveled up and all that stuff, right? And, you know, think about the things you've drawn. Like, I really like this, but is it going to fit in the story? You know, or maybe they don't get this ability right away. Maybe they can't fly right away. You know, maybe they get that from a certain, you know, maybe the magic mentor in the story eventually, right? So everything you design on them doesn't have to be right away. And the hard thing about storytelling is you will have to make some hard decisions. You know, some things will have to be cut. Some things you may not, you know, you can't fit in. Maybe they don't fit the story, but you really like them. So hold on to them for another story, you know, that sort of thing. Emmy, thank you for the raid. Sent to beat me up. Give us, no, my money is my money. I don't have a ton of money, so. We also did a how to draw these mushrooms earlier. That was fun. Before the actual stream got started on the digital aspect, we finished this thing. So this is typically a traditional stream, but I'm showing showing everybody how to go about creating characters for Journey June that's coming up. So for anybody who maybe draws or writes or anything like that, if you're interested in a storytelling challenge for June, that's going to start on Tuesday. So peruse the Instagram account there, and you'll see kind of what it's about. We basically take the hero's journey, we break it down into 30 days, and we make it so it's really easy to finish, you know, a story in a month. So right now I'm developing this character that I made last night for the challenge, because you have to use a new character. If you use a pre-existing character, it's going to really affect your story in a negative way, because we give you all these prompts to answer, and you can't really answer a lot of them with writing a new story when you have an old story still combating it in your mind. So we ask you to make a new character. Yeah, that's right, you're on level 2, right? Oh, Danielle, I'm excited for you. So we do have a level 1 and a level 2. Level 1 is for people who haven't done Journey June before. So it's basically the whole story from the hero's point of view. And then level 2 is for people who are returning after they've already finished a Journey June, and it adds in the villain's point of view, which can be a little hard to bite off when you aren't used to storytelling. So if you at least finish Journey June like the first time, the next time you can do the villain's point of view, which is pretty fun. So NP, any suggestions on inspiration for the name of the story tag? That's gonna be dependent on, you know, your working title for your story. And Bella, this is the info you need right here at the bottom. So NP, like, just make a working title. Just make sure before you actually start tagging anything with it. Like, let's say, for me, I haven't made this one's tag yet, so let's do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Instagram. I'm gonna go to the search function, right? And let's see. Hold on. I gotta make sure. There we go. Alright, so if you go into the search function, right? And you go up here, and you're gonna type in like a hashtag, then JJ, right? You have to have that at the beginning. And then whatever you think your story name would be. So for me, it's like a postal service type story about a messenger. So you want something that you'll remember that's easy. So let's say post or magic post. Okay. So no results found for that, so that means that's good. No one has it yet, right? So I'm gonna claim that, let's say. But if something comes up, like if I did JJ Pip, it says, oh, these are all being used. JJ Pip's being used. Oh no, by who? By myself. This is one from that I used for my last story I did, I think 2 years ago. So all of my Journey June for this story is under that hashtag, which is really nice for when you want to send it to someone, you know, that sort of thing. So that was 2 years ago. The one before that was JJ Hazel. So you can see my whole story there too. So it'll be really nice when you actually start doing this, you've got your own story tag. Now you also want to add in this year's Journey June tag. So you're going to want to use 2 tags, JJ and then the name of your story. And then you'll want to use JJ or Journey June 21. So like last year, Journey June 19. So if you go into Journey June 19, you can see everyone's stories from 2 years ago in Journey June 19. So then Journey June 20 was Journey June 20. 2021 is going to be Journey June 21. Which, let's see, how's it going right now? Because this is how you're going to actually connect with other people doing the challenge. So, oh, this is great. Look at that. So somebody's already doing their art. Here's another one. So you can see what people are already doing under the tag, and it's specifically for the challenge. So this is how we find each other, is using the main tag, and then using this, the story tag is just for you. And that's okay, NP. The story itself will unfold as you go. So what you don't want to do is figure out the story right away. So like right now, I don't know what the story is. And for anybody coming in that doesn't really know Journey June or anything like that, we had a Heroes Workshop last week. Go to the Journey June Instagram account and then go down to this post. It's got my face in it. This whole IG Live is about creating your hero. So you don't want to build your world before you've built your hero. So before Tuesday, you got to make a hero. You don't have to know anything else about them, just design them. And then the story itself will unfold, because every day we put up a new prompt for you to figure out about your hero and what to depict, right? So that by the end, you'll have this full arching story, but just take it day by day. And we give you all these little tips throughout. So like choosing your genre, have the form take, plan ahead, all these things. We're building you up for the actual challenge to start, okay? And remember to keep everything really, really rough. And I mean really rough. So when I actually did, there's pumpkins, my Pip story, the level of detail we want, this is not an illustration challenge, this is a storytelling challenge. So we want really rough drawings, okay? Do them on Post-it sized squares, like this, really rough, okay? This is gonna be the best way to storyboard out your story quickly, and to make it so, you just know how it's gonna go. This is a rough draft. You don't want finalized illustrations for something that's a rough draft, right? So definitely be keeping it rough, keeping it small, and just show what you need to. And the story will unfold as you go. So day 2 for level 1 is already the call to adventure. So the first day, it's gonna ask you, what's your hero's life like? So in this case, for this character I made last night, it's going to show them delivering mail, right? They're a messenger, they deliver mail, they look like it. You want your hero to look like what they do, right? So the first day is establishing who they are, what they do. The second day is going to be what's going to cause them to leave their routine, to leave what they do every day, to go out and go on this adventure. So in this case, maybe the mailbag gets stolen, maybe their hat gets stolen, maybe there's something that gets in their way of getting the mail somewhere and they need to find a way around that. Maybe they get lost, maybe I don't know, maybe they get kidnapped. So all these things are possibilities for the story. I haven't figured out any of them yet, okay? But when you sit down that day just to focus on what's going to take them out of it, just by the end of the day, you need to know that. And it's okay if you don't like it later on. You can always change this, okay? After June's done, go back, revise the story. This is a rough draft. So if you decide you don't like something that you previously decided, you can change it. It's okay. This is practice. We just want you to feel what it's like to create a story. That's the whole idea of this challenge. So, I don't know this thing's name. I don't even know what it's really, what it is. It's half cow ears, half mouse. I don't know. I just like how it looks, and that's really all you need to get to. You know, going too much too soon is a lot. And this, even for me, this might be a little bit too detailed. So when I'm actually doing the thumbnails, I might even just do this, right? To know it's this thing, right? That's a rough drawing. So this would be like on the actual storyboard, and that's fine. If it is this rough, as long as you know what it is, more than okay. All right? You do not need a ton of detail. You don't need any of that kind of stuff. Cows? Yeah, I don't know. And I may never know, and that's okay. So, let me look up and see if anybody asked any other questions. You're right, Kablu. I had taken that out just because I didn't think anybody really cared about me, but I spent 10 years in the game industry. I put out a bunch of mobile games with the company I worked for, and I ended up not enjoying mobile games anymore because it was pretty poisonous of an industry. So I left that. I've always wanted to do books. So that was about 6 years ago now that I left that, and I've been doing freelance and such ever since. I make my money right now by doing, funny enough, pet portraits and going to conventions. And right now I'm a little too, backed up with pet portraits to do anything else, unfortunately. But I do have a Patreon too. And I just released today a tool step-by-step of I use all these whites in my drawings. Like when I draw on toned paper and things, I use each one of these, and I made a post just about when I use which one. Because I know it's a little crazy. And a lot of my patrons were like, you have so many whites, when do you use them and why? I also have another tier on my Patreon that is called the Curious Collector tier. And every month I make a new creature, and this one is based on coffee. Usually it's based on nothing really, it's just a creature, but this one was based on coffee. Next month's, June's, will be based on tea, just so I can hit both the coffee and tea people. I feel bad leaving one out. But you get stickers, you get a little button or a magnet with the creature on it that's in a bottle, and then you get a lore sheet, which gives you a whole story about them, as well as a little fortune that revolves around them. There's a digital version too. If you don't like the physical rewards and you just want to read it, you can do that too. There's a digital one. So depending on whatever you want, you can do that. And this isn't your story name necessarily, NP. Not your official story name. It's just whatever. Even if it's just, let's say you've got a bug. Your character's a bug. You could do JJ Bug Cloverkin if it were me. I could do that. Or it's just, think of it more like it's a folder name and not necessarily a story or character name. And as you're going through your story, you can't get hung up on details like this, or else it's going to really stop up your story. You have to just pick something and go. Anytime you find yourself spending more than 20 minutes thinking of something like this, just tell yourself, put it down and go. Because if you think too long about something, you get too hung up on one detail, you're going to not even continue the story. And that's a problem. Halfway through June, we're going to talk about what's going to happen when you get to, there's a point in the story writing process, and everybody gets to it, where you don't know where to go, you don't feel good about your story anymore, you kind of hate it, you kind of hate your characters, it's just what happens. But how do you get over that hump? And we talk about that. There's a whole workshop on that. So, yep, can't edit what you don't have yet. So you have to have something to edit. Can't edit something that doesn't exist. So having anything down is better. One of our things that we talk about is something is better than nothing. So because of that, and that's actually, I think that comes up, yeah, that's a post away. So it talks about, you know, as long as you're still making progress, that's what counts. Doesn't matter what it is, you can, and that's fine, NP, but to get through this, you have to put that aside. It's the same thing with, you know how people don't want to draw in their sketchbooks because they're afraid it's not going to be a masterpiece? This is exactly that same thing. For now, F it. Let it be messy. Let it be screwed up. It's okay. You have to get over that. And you can be particular with names later. But for right now, if it's stopping you from creating the story, you have to get past that. You have to. Or else it's just not going to happen. You know? That's why there's such a thing called a working title. You know? If nothing else, by June 1st, have it say JJNPL1. Just have it be your name. NPL, right? So JJNPL1, it's your first story, right? There you go. There's your hashtag. You know? You have to. Yeah, you have to get over the idea of it being a masterpiece, or you're never going to finish anything, right? Like, it's so important you finish it. You have to. Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you figured that out. Because you just want to make sure you're progressing. If at any point you find out you're falling behind because you can't make a decision, you just have to pick something. Anything. Doesn't matter. You just have to keep going, right? Because there's a new prompt every day. And you have to at least draw one thing for that prompt. And what I was telling people earlier is make them small. Each one of these is a 3x3. It's a note, post-it note. Put down a post-it note, trace it, there's your storyboard. Do it again. Storyboard. Make them under 4 inches for sure. There's no reason it has to even be this big. One story, I storyboarded the whole thing out with just a ticket stub. And that was like 1 inch by 2 inches. You just want it to be small things where you can visualize what the shots look like. And that's it. We don't want full pages. This is not an illustration challenge. This is a storytelling challenge, okay? All right, so every Saturday, I stream at 2 p.m. Central, but going forward into June, I will be here. So if you have anything you need help with, if you're stuck on a part of your story, if you don't know how you want something to look, if you need to brainstorm with somebody, come here, I will help you. This is the whole point of us running this whole thing, is we want to help people. So you can either message us on the Journey Through June account, or you can come here. Tomorrow, Gabe is doing a visual storytelling best practices stream on IG Live. So, and that's here. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central, so that's about 4 hours ago, but tomorrow, he's gonna tell you about like doing compositions, how to frame a shot, how to continue like motion throughout your story. If you're doing more than one panel per prompt, and maybe you plan on it being a comic, he's going to explain that. Gabe's got 20 years experience in the comic industry. So he'll also have a workshop sometime in June, we haven't decided when, that'll tell you how to take your story and apply it to panels. Because when you're doing your story, even if you're going to do comic layouts and panels, still do them in squares for now, okay? Don't even think about making a triangle panel or anything like that. Don't worry about that right now. That's not important. That comes later. Just get the story finished first, okay? See if there are any other questions about it. Okay, so no other questions? I've got to get going. So if nobody has any other questions, like I said, if you think of it, you can always message us, me either on Cloverkin or on Journey Through June account. Gabe or I will get to it. There is a class at the end of Journey June where if you complete the entire month, you earn the right for this class. And the class happens in July. So after June is over, if you've fallen behind for any reason, you get a week buffer period starting in July. Then you get us your story. We have you fill out this little survey that just shows us that, yeah, I've completed my story. And then we have a class that shows you how to make a book. And we show you 3 different ways to do that. We show you a digital book, which is like how to share your book online and get money for it. People can buy it, and then also so it's not able to be stolen. And then we show you how to do the next cheapest option, which is to print it out and make it into a zine or a saddle stitch book. And then we show you how to make it into an actual perfect bound book and where to go get that made, how much it's going to cost, that sort of thing. So there are 3 different options of books you can do. We're excited for yours too, Mama. And if you're not an artist, if you're a writer, that's fine. If you're a sculptor, photographer, whatever, we've had every kind of artist join in on this before. So even if you aren't, one who draws, if you write, you can do the same thing. It's open to everybody, whatever you want to do. So, don't forget, tomorrow, 1 p.m. CST, Galvasaur is going to be streaming on IG Live on the Journey Through June account. So make sure to go follow Journey Through June on Instagram. That is this one. Okay, it's spelled like that. I wanted Journey June, but we couldn't get that. It'll explain basically everything that you need to know on here. And then we'll be putting up the prompts once we get closer to June, and that's gonna look like... Shoot, where did it go? Oh, I think I archived it. Well, if you go to the website, which... Let me get it up here. So if you go to journeyjune.com, you go here, okay? These are the prompt lists. Alright, and then if you go down here, these are the expanded prompts. So every day in June, we put up, for that day, what you need to think about specifically for that day. We want you to take it a day at a time, okay? And if you're really feeling it, if your creativity is flowing and you're really loving your story, keep going. These are all online all the time for you to go do. Just make sure you're doing the most recent version of it. So you've got the entire thing. If you're doing level 1, you've never done Journey June before, do level 1. If you've done it before, you're ready for level 2. And that's going to say, what's what day, and then it's going to explain every day here. Okay? So everything's already up there for you. So if you want to even start now, get ahead, that's the main thing. Alright, so if you're first year, go to journeyjune.com, go down here, look for level 1. Click that. This is going to be everything you need to know. Okay? So hopefully that helps. Otherwise, like I said, contact me and I will help you understand whatever you need to. I will be on next Saturday, back on Twitch, 2 p.m. CST. Otherwise, yeah, tomorrow Gabe will be doing his little workshop. So, thank you all for coming. We had done this earlier. We were doing traditional work on the stream. And I will see you next time, alright? Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it.